Good morning, everyone. Yeah, I will talk about this new proposal review process that is being used for the first time for the main call at Alma. So, short why Alma switched now to this distributed peer review is that every cycle, a large number of proposals has been submitted, so more than 1,800, which meant a heavy workload on members of the time allocation committee. So they often had to review up to 100 proposals, each person, which meant a possible impact on the quality of the proposal reviews. So now Alma is switching to the distributed peer review, where one member of the proposal team commits to review 10 other submitted proposals. And that in the end means that a large number of people will review a small number of proposals. So that gives everyone more time to review each proposal in more detail. And hopefully then the quality of the proposal reviews will be high. And as a benefit, the Alma community will be way more involved in the review process. But this will only be applied for proposals that request less than 25 hours on the main array and less than 150 hours on the ACA standalone. So this is the Alma review process for Cycle 8 2021. As always, you submit your proposal, and then these proposals are being reviewed. JAO does some final checks after the reviews are in, and then the results are being sent to the PI. Just this year, the proposal review process will be split into distributed peer review and the panel review process. So for proposals asking for less than 25 hours on the 12-meter array or less than 150 hours on the ACA, they will go through the distributed peer review. So by the time of submission, each PI has to dedicate one person of the proposal team as a designated reviewer, which will then review 10 submitted proposals. That one can be a co-I on the proposal, but that co-I has to have a PhD. If the PI wants to review the proposal and does not have a PhD at the time of submission, then they have to designate also a mentor. This mentor does not have to be a co-I on the proposal itself. That mentor is supposed to give guidance for the review of the proposals to the PI that does not have a PhD. And of course has to abide to the same confidentiality rules as the PI itself. So then in stage one, these 10 proposals are being reviewed and being ranked from 1 to 10. And for each proposal, the reviewer has to write a short review. If the reviewer does not submit its reviews by the deadline, then the proposal that he was the designated reviewer for will be rejected. So be very careful and make sure that you submit your reviews on time. So after stage one, there is an optional stage two stage where the reviewer can see all the other reviews or comments that the other people did on the different proposals that the reviewer reviewed. And if wanted, then one can change the order that one has submitted previously and can also change the comments, but this is optional. And then at the end, one has a ranked list. So this looks like this. Every individual ranks their proposals from 1, which equals best, to 10, which equals worst. And then these are put together to make this a full rank of proposals in the end for the distributed peer review. So this then has a list of all the proposals that were going through this process. So then for all proposals that are longer than 25 hours on the main array or all the large proposals, They will be reviewed through panels of experts on the scientific subject of the proposals. And the proposals are assigned to a panel based on their scientific category. In the first stage, conflicts of interest are identified, and then all panel members have to review all proposals that are assigned to their panel on which they are not conflicted. So they then have to score the proposals and write a comment. Then after stage 1, a triage is performed to minimize the workload for the next stage, in which the ALMA review panel meetings will take place. This is a virtual meeting in 2021. And here the proposals are discussed and then rescored based on the discussion. And then afterwards, a consensus report is being written for each proposal. And then in the end, and then also the ALMA proposal review committee is meeting, which makes a recommendation which large proposals are supposed to be scheduled. And then in the end, we also have a ranked list of proposals. And this is being put together as this. So each panelist scores the proposals in their panel, and then the scores of the panelists for each proposal are averaged, which determines their rank within the panel. The rankings are then normalized by the total number of proposals which go into each panel, and then sorted by the normalized ranks among all the panels, which interleaves them. And then this is, again, the same procedure as was being followed in cycles 0 to 7, so there's no changes here. So in the end, we have these two lists from the distributed peer review and the panel review process, and we get a merged list that looks like this. So the ranked list from the distributed peer review is being normalized by all the proposals that went through that process, as is also being done for the panel review process. And then they're sorted by the normalized ranks. So that again interleaves them, which assures that there's no systematic difference in the overall science ranking of the panel versus the distributed peer review. And then the large programs, as was already mentioned by Violetta, they're actually going on the top of they have top priority in the final ranked list. So if you have any questions about this distributed peer review, of course, you can ask them now, but there's also this website where ALMA is trying to answer some of the main questions that people have. Thank you. Any questions?